Hello everyone, today's video is going to be going over the recently released Squad Living Roadmap. Now this was a roadmap released by OWI to kind of showcase all the future planned content for Squad. But before we do get into this map, I do want to talk about a couple of announcements. First one, today and today only, we are having a Squad sale. So if you've been waiting for a sale to pick up Squad, you can get that at karmakut.com and pick up Squad for a discounted price. Also guys, we are going to be having a Squad live stream right here on YouTube from 2 to 5 p.m. Pacific today. So if you haven't caught a Squad live stream before, I'll see you over there. The final thing I want to note is that we do also have a merch sale until Sunday, and that is going to be with the code MILSIMP. If you use this code at checkout, you'll get 20% off your order. But with that all out of the way guys, let's jump straight into the first section here, which is June 29th. Beta 20. So as you guys know, the latest major update from Squad was Beta 20, and they came out with a whole new map, which is Lashkar Valley, an awesome Afghan map, and 2 vehicles, one for the Canadian faction, the MSVS, and one for the British faction, the FV432. So 2 new vehicles and a whole new map, which is a lot of content. They've also fixed modding, which is great because that means that the Galactic Star Wars mod is back on, and there's a whole bunch of other awesome custom content that is out there that we will be showcasing in the weeks to come. The other major update that I do want to talk about with Beta 20 was a whole bunch of optimization fixes. So in this last patch, I'm actually getting about 20 more frames than Beta 19. So they're definitely working on the frames and it is getting better. The only thing we do have to consider here is that bandwidth for extra frames might be going to other things in the future, like 100 players, bigger maps, or more effects and stuff like that. But we'll see how that all pans out. So the next thing that we're going to be talking about is Beta 21, which is planned for the end of July, which means sometime here in the next week. So pretty quick on the content updates again. The first thing is going to be an updated SVDM, which is going to be the, I'm assuming, going to be the updated marksman rifle for the Russian faction. And you can see a picture of it here. Pretty cool, pretty spiffy looking. Reminds me of something straight out of Tarkov. But pretty cool there. 3 new vehicles, 2 Russian new vehicles, and 1 new Canadian vehicle. So it looks like a Logi vehicle, an IFV or APC of some sort, and then another light armored vehicle. So some new vehicles is going to be awesome. As you guys know, I'm mostly about that infantry gameplay, but I am interested to see what these vehicles will bring to the table. Now, the biggest thing to note in this Beta 21 section is the 100 player testing. Now, this is something that I've been asking for a while. Now, the main reason I'm really hyped for 100 player testing is because I think that there's way too many vehicles on the map right now in Squad, and I think infantry gameplay needs some love. Now, there's a couple ways to fix this. One is to decrease the amount of vehicles, but obviously, apparently some people don't like that option, and Squad seems to be moving towards this combined arms kind of era. So what we're looking at now is just adding more infantry to the map instead of reducing vehicles, which is a fix, but not the fix I would personally go for. Another thing that they are going to be tweaking is a couple of gameplay changes. They're going to redo the rally point system, fix the bleed out system. Infantry speed is going to be adjusted. I believe they're reducing the infantry speed here, and they're going to add VoIP leader channel quality of life fixes, which is going to make things much easier for squad leaders in command to manage comms and get their guys where they need to go. So cool quality of life / content update at the end of July. Once again, this is pretty soon. This is only about, a month away from Beta 20. So it's really fast. We used to be on this kind of content schedule where they would have an update every month. That obviously was broken up by Beta 19 and Beta 20 with a very, 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 very long break. But it does look like speed is going to be kicking up here again, especially with Beta 20, end of August, one of my, most anticipated updates because it brings 2 huge new updates. The first is going to be Fallujah, which is a map that a lot of Squad players have been waiting for. A really CQB detail-oriented map, which is going to be a lot of fun, with the addition of a new faction, the Middle Eastern Alliance. I've always been saying this, new factions are always good for Squad. It's a whole bunch of new content, new weapons, new vehicles, just a whole bunch of things that can change gameplay just from faction to faction. And I think it's a nice splash of flavor that Squad definitely needs right now. There's also a couple other gameplay system changes planned for Beta 2020, HAB spawn changes, capture mechanic tweaks, FTL improvements, and then they're bringing back the Track Attack Tournament game mode, which for those of you that don't know, Track Attack was a tournament of armored vehicles, tanks going up against each other. So they're going to be making that into a game mode, which I think is really cool. One of the things that I really like about armor gameplay in Squad and Postscriptum and Hell Let Loose is that it's a multi-crew vehicle. It's not just one person controls a tank and can drive it just like War Thunder, but you have a driver, a gunner, and a commander. And that's one of the things I think was very overlooked in Postscriptum was their armored game mode, because I think that was one of the most fun experiences I've ever had in gaming. They're also planning on doing some helicopter improvements, which is much needed as well. Finally, the last thing that they're going to be doing in beta 2020 is fixing the founder weapon skins. So for those of you guys that back squad during Kickstarter, you will finally hopefully be able to get to use these skins, because I know these skins have been broken for quite some time now. Now, at the end of August, which is once again another month after, there's still more content planned. Now, this is, like I said before, a pretty aggressive content update schedule, but OWI has done this before, and I'm hoping that they can just keep to this schedule and release on time. But let's talk about the updates coming at the end of September. The first thing is going to be an overhaul to the Insurgency game mode, which is something that I think is really important. Squad mainly only has 1 or 2 game modes. The main game mode is Attack and Secure, and you can call randomized Attack and Secure its own kind of game mode, but the second most popular game mode is Invasion. I think Territory Control could use some love as well, but Insurgency is like an old school Project Reality game mode that doesn't really get much play in Squad just because it's been neglected, certain layers are broken, and the balance on some maps just doesn't feel right. In addition to the Insurgency game mode overhaul, you can also see that this patch is focused towards Insurgency faction. For example, new Insurgent Vehicles. As we can see here, we have a technical that has an AA gun on it, a technical that has a mortar on it, which I've been asking for so long. I've just been dreaming about a vehicle that has mortars in the back. And then updated Insurgency weapons, which is going to be really cool. I think this is a Mosin Nagant in this picture here. So more weapons, more content, more flavor, all good to keep the player base happy. A couple of things that are being changed gameplay-wise that is planned for September is vehicle impact damage, so getting hit by vehicles or vehicles hitting objects. I think that's going to begin causing damage here now. Helicopter component damage improvements, which I think could be, greater expanded on than the system right now, which is just engines and rotors. And then updated DLC system support for upcoming factions, which is a big one, right? Because this is pretty much showcasing that, hey, there's going to be a lot more DLC, a lot more factions. And like I said before, more factions, more content, more flavor, more replayability. Because I think playing the same factions right now is just getting a little old. I mean, CAF is honestly still something that excites me when it comes up, just because I've been playing the other factions for so long. Alright, so moving on into the end of October, we have a new map planned as well, Op Anvil, which we only really have this one picture to go off of, but looks like a kind of woodland, urban, semi-urban environment, so that could be a lot of fun as well. But the big thing here is going to be the new Australian faction. The Australians will be joining us hopefully in October. And all these new factions, man, I just love it. Getting to play with new weapons, new vehicles, and just having different matchups of different factions going against the other factions is going to be a lot of fun and good for replayability. There's also going to be 3 new British vehicles. We've got an IFV coming, a British helicopter, and a transport vehicle. Now, there's going to be more overhaul gameplay changes here. This is kind of kept vague because I think this is, pushing into October here, so a little bit down the line, but it's good to see that they've announced what exact content they want to release, right? New map, Op Anvil, new faction, new vehicles. In December here, getting to the end of the year, we do have a new map, Black Coast, which looks like a very open, kind of like Scorpo style map. Of course, I don't really have too many pictures of this. It is still a work in progress, but I am excited for this new Black Coast map. We also have one of the most anticipated factions of Squad coming out in December, which is the US Marine Corps. Now, this is something that I get messages about all the time on my videos, all the time in the comments. People are hyped for the US Marine Corps, and especially with Fallujah. I would have liked to see both of these things come out at the same time, but we're going to be getting one after the other, and they're coming out eventually, so I can't complain too much. So very happy to see that the USMC is coming soon. Now, for gameplay, this is also where it gets exciting. Fast ropes and amphibious vehicles. Now, amphibious vehicles have kind of been coded in via modding. You might have seen squad ops pull out a couple of strikers and a couple of amphibious ops and assaults, but they're actually going to be supported in the game officially, so that's awesome. And then fast ropes, which is a feature that so many people ask for, just like dragging. I don't think it's going to impact gameplay that much. It will be cool to do. I don't think it's going to be happening like all the time, but it's nice to see that fast ropes are in. I'd have to say, if there's any kind of helicopter mechanic or vehicle that I would like added into the game, it would be the ability to have Chinooks in the game, and then have, or transport helos, like large, heavy transport helos, have these transport helos move vehicles from location to location. So being able to airlift large vehicles over terrain to FOPs or to an ideal location. That is the one helicopter mechanic that I really would like to see. I don't know, maybe someone will mod it in. So modders, if you're paying attention, put that on your work list. But I think heavy transport helos with the ability to airlift things would vastly improve gameplay for armored vehicles for a lot of squad maps right now. Now, that's pretty much everything that's planned for 2020. In 2021, we do have a couple more interesting things coming out. As you can see here, we have a new map, which they haven't talked about. I mean, that's pretty vague. It could be a tease. We have no idea what this new map is, but we do have a new faction that has been confirmed, which is the Pan-Asia faction, which I'm assuming is something like China, but is just being a placeholder. As you can see here, it says Pan-Asia PH name. So who knows what that final faction's name will be, but it is really interesting to see that they are planning on adding an Asian faction. Now in 2020, there are plans to also rework the commander resource point system, which I think is pretty important. Right now, I feel like the commander system is kind of bare bones. I don't think it's been thought out too well. You can kind of do very basic things like calling in off-map arty and air assets, but that's pretty much the extent to what the commander can do compared to other games like Postscriptum or Hell Let Loose, where the commander has a bigger role or more active role in leading and setting up the team for success. In Squad, it really feels like the only time people take commander is to just get access to the off-map stuff, not to lead the team or assist the team in logistics or planning and stuff like that. In Squad, the commander role feels very bare bones, and it feels like some squad leaders just pick it up so that they can call in off-map assets. But in 2021, they also plan on adding a couple of system updates. UI overhaul, which is, I think, much needed. Right now, the UI kind of feels like it hasn't been changed or updated in quite some time. After action report implementation, which I think is really important, the score screen as well just kind of feels like dated. I don't know. It just feels like it needs some love, especially since people love looking at their stats. If we could get some kind of stat tracking or some better way to break down what's happening per map, I think that'd be a lot of fun. One of the features that I'm dying for, that I know is in the game, but hasn't been fixed or fully implemented, is battle replays. This is something that I think was talked about a while ago and hasn't really been touched on too much, but the whole idea is something like Sandstorm, where you play a match and you can go back, watch, record, rewind, and fast forward through the entire match on your own on your local system. So having a file where you can rewatch that game, I think would be great for content creation, great for the competitive scene, and I think it'd be just a lot of fun and a useful tool. I know it's probably low on OWI's, list of priorities, but I think that's another thing on my wish list, as a content creator, that I would love to see in Squad. But as you can see, guys, there's a ton of stuff here. I'll leave links down below. There was also a dev chat with Fuzzhead, who's doing a lot of the gameplay changes. So if you want to watch that Twitch VOD, there's a ton of good, useful stuff on what they plan to update and fix and improve on and implement in the future. So that's also where you're going to get a ton of information. I probably have gotten a couple things wrong here in this video as well, or some things might be outdated by the time this comes out. I'll also leave links to the post itself and to the Trello board. So check out all these links in the description, guys. But before we sign off, guys, just a reminder, if you're looking to pick up a copy of Squad, you can head over to Karmakut today. It is on discount, on sale for only today, and also support the channel at the same time. But that's all I've got for you guys today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.